Okay, at this time we'll move to item 6B, earthquake preparedness. Cal State Channel Islands student Brian Figg.
Good afternoon, Council. While we wait for the scene to get down, I'll introduce myself. I am Brian Figg. I currently go to school at Cal State University Northridge. Not on the agenda, it says CSUCI. I'm actually from Northridge.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. But I'm currently studying mechanical engineering, and my end goal is aerospace, but I'm not there yet. It's my master's program. But I'm in the current geology class. It's California seismology and faults in Southern California. And so I just guess we'll get started on the presentation now. So there's three different types of faults. There's a strike slip, which is basically what we have in California, is a huge reason why we have it, but it's a very long story. Then there's convergent faults, which are mainly what would create mountains like the Himalayas in India and Eurasia. Then we have divergent faults, which are mainly mid-ocean ridges where they separate and they create new land. All right, but the big issue here in California is the strike slip, because this is what caused the major earthquakes here. So as you can see, I have a slide up there with all of the different faults, and we're one of the only geological locations where we can have a tsunami in the entire state. So that's not good. But and for those who aren't really aware of what a tsunami is, it's a giant wave, but it's more than that. It's the entire force of the ocean coming into an area. So it's like you put land in the way of the entire ocean coming on land, coming towards you. So you would have massive destruction in the wake. Fracking is a huge issue in Ventura County if we were to allow it, because everywhere there's dead faults, and dead faults are they're faults that were active at one point that caused earthquakes that are no longer active anymore. So they don't produce earthquakes, they don't contribute to damage, they're just there. They were just no longer active. Now the thing about fracking is, people always say, fracking is a big issue for earthquakes. Well, it is. Some people say that it doesn't. It is. The pumping of the gas out isn't the issue. It's when you put the water back in, the fluid, the fracking fluid. So what that does is it puts pressure on the current faults and reactivates dead faults. So here are the different zones. Tsunamis are in blue. That's the zoning of how much damage we could have, projected by the USGS. And purple is liquefaction. For those who don't know what liquefaction is, it's when an earthquake occurs and water comes up and it can ruin foundations. It can weaken soil conditions. And in the red up here are just the normal fault zones, and you can see there's some off the coast. What contributes, obviously, to the risk for Port Hueneme? Well, let's see. All of our houses the majority of our houses were before 1975. To put it in perspective, 1994 was when we had the Northridge earthquake, and that's when we had the most recent laws put into place for codes and updating buildings and preparing for earthquakes. And so, as you can see, only 8% of our houses have been built after we have that code, after we have those codes put in place. So our houses are at extreme risk for earthquake, and especially before 1975. There's been a lot of changes since then to our codes, our building codes. All right, this is the shakeout scenario. This was a culmination of about 20 major geologists in the United States who came together at the United States Geological Survey to create a hypothetical model of an earthquake, the big one actually, of a 7.8 in magnitude that would start in the Salton Sea and propagate northward. And so we have it would be 10 times the powerful as the shaking of the 1994 earthquake. But if you were to put it on the scale, that's intensity of shaking, so that's how much damage would happen. But if you were to talk about shaking, like magnitude, that would be 32 times stronger. Because 1.0 on the Richter scale is actually 32 times stronger. It's a logarithmic function. So it's much bigger. We would have $200 billion in estimated damages from this earthquake. 50,000 injuries would be projected and 1,800 deaths. That seems a little low given that it's going to be right near Los Angeles and it would propagate northward to Oxnard. What can the residents do? Be prepared. Anticipating earthquakes is the best way to be prepared. Now, of course, you can't predict them, but you can anticipate them. You know when they're going to happen. I mean, you don't know when they're going to happen, but you know they're going to happen. So you need to know what to do, what to be ready for, and how to do it. Be proactive. Spread the word. Stay informed. You want to, well, I even brought this question up to my dad. Maybe we could have because I know there's the California Great Shakeout every year. It's a big, like, earthquake awareness event that we could involve the Navy with, because they would be our main allies in the event of one. And so we could involve them all. And we could have a giant community event, and we could just all learn about earthquakes. I mean, it's what it's for. So we're all ready and to go, you know, for if there was never a major one in the city.